Okay, well, we're rolling on a short week here. I think the players have tried to do a good job from the Washington game of trying to get rested, get treatment, get rehabbed, and be ready to go Thursday night. We certainly have a lot to get ready for with the Giants. It's a good football team, well coached. Really an attacking type of team in all three phases of the game. Special teams, good coverage team, good return game. They've had explosive plays in both, pressure the kickers, specialists with their punt and field goal rushes. Defensively, a lot of pressures, a lot of good mixture of man-to-man, zone coverage, but with some kind of pressure factored in there a lot. So that's certainly a problem. Strong physical guys up front, and great skill players offensively. Barkley, Ingram, Slayton's made some big plays for him. Latimer, so they do a good job. Coach Shermer does a good job using all his personnel, different personnel groupings, fullback, tight ends, receivers, and play fast, play at a good, not no huddle fast, but play fast in terms of after the ball's snapped. They separate and get into the defense quickly and force you to cover a lot of ground and deal with a lot of different problems in the running game. So got a lot of work to do. Get started here today, get as much so we can get done today, and finish it up tomorrow, and then it'll be time to get ready to go. So we're off and running.
Raise your hand. I'll call on you for questions. Go ahead, Ben.
Bill, there seem to be myriad injury questions with the Giants right now. Ingram and Gallman and Saquon. How do you deal with all the uncertainty that they have right now?
Yeah, we'll be ready for everybody until they're out. But yeah, we expect them all to play. We'll prepare for all of them to play, and they have a lot of good players. But look, they've gotten good depth. They have good depth, and they've gotten good play from a lot of different players. I mean, I'll just start with Jones stepping in for Manning. I mean, there's two good quarterbacks, so they've moved the ball effectively against everybody.
Go ahead, Andrew.
When you look at Daniel Jones since he stepped in, is he working with the entire offense there, or they kind of brought him along and opened up just a chapter here or there?
Yeah, no, I'd say he runs the offense. I mean, you have to ask them that on specifics, but they do what they. Again, it's like a West Coast-based offense with some, certainly an emphasis on the running game and the play-action passes as well as some RPOs and things like that. So those are all part of what he does. It would be the same game plan if Eli was in there. I don't know. You'd have to ask them that, but I don't see them holding back anything. And he's very athletic. He's mobile. I wouldn't say he's just go back and start running, but if he needs to run, if the protection breaks down, or if there's an opening there, or he gets outside the pocket, he can cause a lot of damage with his speed and his ability to extend plays. But he's very accurate quarterback and has good poise. He's shown good toughness in the pocket. He's been hit a few times, but he just stands in there and can keep ripping it. So he's been impressive.
Bill, how tough a decision was it yesterday to release Ben Watson, and what did he bring to the team going back to camp?
Yeah, like Ben, just we don't have a roster spot for him right now, and so maybe that'll change. But for the moment, that's where it is.
Is there any carryover? You mentioned to a West Coast system from what you guys saw against Washington to what you're going to
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's some similar concepts. But there are a lot of differences. Certainly the players are a lot different. I mean, just starting with Ingram, he's different than most any tight end we faced. And it's really like having a receiver at tight end. But he's also involved in other parts of the game. So it's not for receivers, but he's certainly not a tight end either. So it starts with, guys, even though it's the same place, you start putting a guy like that in there, that changes things. Barkley, we haven't seen anybody like Barkley all year. So that changes things too.
Understanding Barkley might not play, he might play. Just building up what you just said, that you haven't seen anyone like him in what way?
Yeah, every way. I mean, he's had more production than any player in the history of the game and the time that he's played. So 91 catches, or whatever it was last year. Receiver, runner, power, speed, athleticism. It's hard to tackle. Just do it all.
You said that you guys didn't have space for Ben Watson. What have you seen from the tight ends that are on the roster? You talked about how Matt, you hadn't quite gotten enough practice time with his limitations.
Yeah, we're both younger players that are developing, and we feel like have some upside. Have done a decent job for us. Certainly, have a ways to go, but have had enough production to want that we want to keep working with them. Sorry.
Bill, I want to ask about special teams play during the Redskins game. It looked like there was one play, I think it was Terrence Brooks, was lying about like 13 yards off the ball, similar depth to the punter. What made you try that out with a player like Terrence, and what sort of effectiveness did it have changing the position of a gunner type player like that?
We've run that before, and we can't leave before the ball's kicked, but it puts another player in space to be able to cover the punt. So that's the idea of it. Does that answer your question? Or?
Pretty much. I just want to, what advantages of having a guy that deep does that create versus having a guy towards the line of scrimmage?
Well, if you put him on the line of scrimmage, you can't release until the ball's punted. If you put him behind the line of scrimmage, he could get a running start, not cross the line, but when he hits the line of scrimmage, be going full speed, which would put him down into the coverage quicker.
Wondering what it's been like to coach Michael Bennett so far this season and what you guys have gotten out of him.
Yeah, good. Michael's a smart player. He's got a lot of experience. He has a lot of. He's been in different systems, so he's kind of adapted to our system. But we've also, talked to him about some of the things that he's done, and he obviously has a lot of experience and a lot of input, not just against individual players, but also schematically. So it's been good. He's really tried hard and worked hard to embrace what we've asked him to do, which again is quite different than what he's done. Seattle and Philly, even in Tampa. So, yeah, it's been fine.
His snap count is a little lower than it's been traditionally in past years. Is that a function of him being a more veteran player, or is just finding out a role for him? Why is that?
He's on our team. I don't care what happened in some other team. I don't really know what that was or wasn't. But we'll try to do what's best for our team, and that's everybody. It's him, it's everybody else. And then McCourty's snap count's down too.
What you've seen, where does Golden Tate most hurt opposing defenses? Kind of what areas of the field?
Yeah, whenever he gets the ball in his hands. It's very dangerous in the return game. Primarily plays in the slot, but not exclusively. He's, again, good with any play where he runs with the ball. So it could be screens, speed sweeps. But he's also obviously a very dangerous receiver. So put him in the middle of the formation. That gives him the most options to go across, to go vertical, to go back outside. So he's good at all those.
You mentioned the double snap down some. Is the depth of your defense, does that allow you to rotate guys in a little bit more?
Yeah, we've played a lot of players, so I'm not sure whose snap count's up. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me that. We've rotated a lot of them. We've played 20 players on defense the last 4 or 5 weeks, so naturally, you start splitting it up between 20 guys, that's what you're going to get. Show me how many teams in the league play 20 players on defense. I don't know. Not too many.
Bill, is that kind of rotation, is that just a product of the talent you feel like you have on that side of the ball, or is there like a work management sort of mindset when it comes to keeping players fresh in the short term or in the long term?
Yeah, I don't know, Phil. Look, we have a lot of good players. Each week is its own week. It depends on the situation. It depends on the game plan. Sometimes it depends on how they play the game. So I didn't know that Washington was going to be in 10 personnel for 30-some plays or whatever it was. So that changed some of our play time. It's not like we go into the game and say, like, this is how many plays each guy is going to play. I mean, we just don't do it that way. And so there's a lot of factors. I don't know what they all are, but ultimately they all come into play and try to do what we think's best.
Henry?
What do you see from Nate Solder this season?
Yeah, Nate's a solid player, veteran player, obviously very experienced, and he's played all the snaps I've seen at left tackle. Has for quite a while now. So he and Hernandez give him a good solid side over there.
Alpsosi?
Bill, when you face an offense that vary the personnel groups, but you have at the second level the linebackers that you do the versatility, guys can do a lot of different things and do them extremely well. How much of an advantage is that where those guys can be 3-down linebackers but do different things on those 3 downs?
Yeah, it's huge. Gives it. Look, we face a different offense every week. Even if they're the same, they're different because of the different personnel. So to be able to have players that can do multiple things and do them well, it gives you a tremendous advantage. You can substitute or you can not substitute, and we have a lot of players that fall into that category. So we have the ability to sub if we want to, or if we don't want to, we can let the players play where they normally play, and they can certainly handle that adequately.
This isn't the first time this has happened where you're playing a preseason opponent in the regular season, but how much, if anything, can you take from that preseason finale for this week?
I mean, I don't think too many people that played in that game on either side of the ball for either team are going to, I don't know how much they're going to play in this game. So I don't think there's a lot of matchups in that game, and schematically, I'd say it was pretty watered down from what they ran, what we ran, based on just looking back at the game. We'll see what happens on Thursday, but I think both teams will do more than they did in that game, be my guess.
The final question here, Steve.
Bill, how important has Danny Shelton been for you on a front line man?
Yeah, Danny's done a good job for us. His second year, I think he came in with he was in good shape, came in with a great attitude. He's really worked hard to do the things that we asked him to do, which is a little different than what he'd done in the systems that he'd been in Cleveland. And he tried to do that last year. I'd say this year he's just further ahead on it, and build on the experiences that he had last year, and has really given us a really good level of play inside. And his role's actually expanded from what it was last year, because he's been able to do more things, and he's doing the things that we've asked him to do at a good level. So he's been productive and versatile. He's done a good job for us.
Coach?
Okay, thank you.
The practice is on the upper grass field.